Welcome once again to this YouTube channel. Today we're gonna look at how we can find whether a row of data has duplicates, and if they are duplicates, then we want to extract the duplicates and place them in a separate cell. So we have a data set here with columns 1 to 4, and each of these columns has a repeating value or may not have a repeating value. So the first thing we want to do is, if there is a duplicate, more than one value, we need to do a check here, and then we say duplicate exists. If there are no duplicates, we say no duplicates. And if they exist, we want to know those duplicates, so we extract them there and show them in a separate cell. And I'll also show you how we can deal with these NA errors. So let's get started and jump into it. I have the same data set here. I'm going to take you step by step so that you understand from the first principles how I'm building up these functions. So the first thing I'm going to do to know that there are duplicates, if at all there are no duplicates and I do a COUNTIF using the COUNTIFs function. So the first one is the criteria. Select all that, the criteria range. Then the second one is the criteria, which is all this. So what this one means is I'm going to check John against the entire row. Does is I check John against the entire range selected. If it finds a duplicate, like here, it returns 2. If it doesn't find the duplicate, it returns 1. So if I do only this, close, I return 0. It is returning more than 1 value, but you're seeing only 0. If I encircle this into Ctrl-Shift-Enter, there you go. If I expand this here, I'm gonna see this 2 relates to John. It's saying it has checked John and found 2 instances of John. 12 relates to the next 2. So it has searched for 12 and found 2 instances of 12, this one and this one. Then it comes like so. So if I change this one to a different name like Peter, it returns 1. For Peter, it is 1. For 12, it is saying there are 2. For John, it is 1. And for 12, again, it's 2. So using this, I'm able to know which one appears more than once. So if, for example, I make this one 12, now you can see the first 12 shows 3, the second 12 shows 3, John, it shows 1, and this 12 checked against that row, it also shows 3. So the COUNTIFs here gives us the number. Now, I also need to know if at all there are no duplicates, what is returned. Assuming this is 13, this one is Peter. You see it returns 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay? So if there is no duplicate, it's going to return 1, 1, 1. So what is the sum of these ones is going to be 4. So it will be 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 4. So it means that if there are no duplicates and I get the sum of whatever is returned here, I'm going to get 4. In all other cases, the minimum I can get is 4. But in all other cases, which will be greater than 4, it will mean that they are duplicates. As I said here, if I put 12, Now the sum of these is gonna be 6, be 2, 1, 1, 2, which makes a 6. So as long as the sum is greater than 4, I know that they are duplicates. So using that, I'm gonna use that as my check, as my logical check as to whether they are duplicates or no duplicates. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to say sum of the array that I'm getting. I do that, you see, I return one figure, which is 6. And because they are duplicates here, the sum is more than 4. If there are no duplicates, as I showed you, you get a sum of 4 like there. So what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna use the if function and say if I get the sum of that and it's more than 4, then return duplicates exist, comma, if in all other cases say no duplicates. Close our if function and press enter. Autofill comes into play, and there we go. So let's check whether we have got it right. So in the first row, I don't have a duplicate, and therefore it returns no duplicate. If I change this one to 12 so that I create a duplicate, you can see my formula works fine and tells me a duplicate exists. So when we go to the next, the row here says no duplicate. This one, there's a duplicate of 12. That's why it says duplicate exists, and so on. So with this, I'm able to know which row has a duplicate and which other row has no duplicate. The next step that I'm gonna do is to extract. Now that we know that duplicates exist, it does not help us just to stop at that point. We need to extract those duplicates, then we know how to handle them. So the next thing I'm gonna do is extract those duplicates. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the filter function. And if you filter function, the way it works, it takes a range of data, which will be that one there, comma, and a condition. Now, before I do this, I need to get a condition which will return trues and false. So in case there is a duplicate, it returns true. And if there is no duplicate, it will return false. That will be my condition. So I need to first look for a logic that will give me duplicates or no duplicates. Now, when I go back to my first example here, and I copy this array function, let's start from there and see what it gives us. When I do this, you can see it is going to return 2 because for the first item here, 12 appears here and here. Therefore, it returns 2 for the first item. Peter is not in this, it doesn't repeat in this list, so it returns 1, 1, 1. Now, I want to change this into trues and false. So what to achieve that, what I have to go in here, my count has to be greater than 1. And if it is greater than 1, I want you to return me true. And if not, return false. So it means I need to do an if statement which checks that there. So when I do that, you can see 12 returns true because 12 is repeated. Peter, the second item, returns false. because we don't have another Peter in that row. And John, the third item, returned false. Then 12 is there again. Now, this is the condition that I'm going to use in my filter function. If you understand this principle, then it is very important that you'll know how the filter function works. So what I'll do, this will be my condition. So I go back to my filter function and I select the range like so, comma, and my condition, which returns true and false, is what I've copied, and I place it there, close my filter function, and press enter. When you do that, you can see already 12 is repeated, and it brings it out here. If I change this one to John, to make John repeat, you can see now John is what comes here. Now, having done that, I can copy my function down. When I do that, you can see it extracts values, and even in some cases, returns an A. Now, where there is an A, it means that it has not found any match. So I need to enclose this in my if error function. And I copy this down. And there you go. So if there's nothing, it returns nothing. However, if you want a message there, you could also put a comma and say no duplicates or no values. Keep it simple like so. And there you go, you'll get your no values, as you can see right there. Now you can say, okay, I see the duplicates and all that. I want all these values in a single cell. That is also okay. All I have to do, cut this one. Now that means I need to join, and the function I'm gonna use is a TEXTJOIN function, whose first argument is the values I'm going to join. How do I want to separate them? I want to separate them with a comma. If there are spaces in those values that I'm gonna join, ignore those spaces, comma. Then lastly, the text that I'm gonna join, which I paste in there, and then I copy this down, Control D, and there you go. So you will see that the duplicate values are placed in here. So if I change this to 12, you can see the 12 that are duplicates. This one says it exists, and it extracts them as so. If I change this one to 13 so that there are no duplicates, no values is returned. Here it changes to no duplicates and returns no values. So this is the way you can extract duplicates in a row. First of all, we checked whether they're duplicates or no duplicates, and then it returned that no duplicates for no cases, and duplicates exists if the cases are there. Then in the next column, we extracted our values. I hope this has been helpful. Share with me how you would go about this. And if you have found it helpful, be sure to subscribe to see more videos like this one. I thank you for watching. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, like the video, and give me your comments. And I'll see you in the next video.